Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Anne Marie, and today I'm going to discuss the 10 Things I Love About You, Strange Sally Diamond by Liz Nugent. This is a no spoilers book review, so don't worry about me revealing any plot twists or ruining any surprise endings. The whole point of this is to give you an inside peek into the book. So here we go. At the age of 6, Sally Diamond was adopted by a man named Tom, a psychiatrist, and his wife Jean, a general practitioner. Sally doesn't remember anything about her childhood prior to her adoption, but now at the age of 43, the blurry truth about her past is coming into sharp focus. She endured something unthinkable as a child, and everyone wants to know more about it. To complicate matters, people around town have started calling her Mary, and she has no idea why they are doing that, because she has no recollection of being anyone other than Sally. Before I go any further, I want to warn you that this book is categorized as a horror suspense novel. It is dark, it is sad, and it is psychologically disturbing. There is some humor thrown in to offset the horror, but this is the type of book that stays with you for a while after you finish reading it. And trust me, author Liz Nugent takes readers on a roller coaster of emotions that will leave you mentally rattled. That being said, the first thing I love about Strange Sally Diamond is, well, Sally Diamond. She's the unapologetically honest protagonist who lives in a secluded bungalow at the end of a tiny lane a mile outside of a rural Irish village. She is strange in a socially awkward recluse sort of way. She speaks her mind, and even though what she says is sometimes rude, it's done without malice because she has the innocence of a child. She finds other people confusing, unpredictable, and hard to read. She doesn't like hugging or being touched, and she frequently pretends to be deaf so people don't talk to her. She's the type of person who prefers routines to spontaneity, silence to noise, and forthright communication to small talk. Plus, she takes everything literally. Prior to his death, her father frequently joked that Sally should, quote, throw him out with the rubbish when he dies. Unfortunately, she didn't understand that he was joking, so she honored his wishes. And, well, once word gets around town about her illegal disposal of her father's remains, the incident attracts a lot of media attention. Having followed her father's instructions to a T, Sally doesn't understand why everyone is making such a fuss about what she did. The second thing I love about this book is Dr. Angela Caffrey. She is a local general practitioner who worked with Sally's mother, Jean. Angela took over the practice after Jean died. When Sally casually mentions what she did with her father's body following his death, again, not realizing she did anything wrong, word quickly spreads around town. Angela drops by the house to question Sally herself. What I love most about Angela's character is that she explains things to Sally as clearly and honestly as she can. In Chapter 5, given what Sally has done to her father's deceased body, Angela tells her flat out, I have to call the police, and they will want to talk to you. But I don't want you to worry, because I'm going to be with you, and I'll explain your condition to them, and I'll make sure they are gentle with you. Then, once the police decide to treat Sally's house as a crime scene, Angela opens her home to Sally, knowing she has nowhere else to go. The third thing I love are the letters Sally's dad leaves for her. The first is found in Chapter 8. This letter gives Sally specific instructions about what to do following his death. Unfortunately, Sally doesn't read the letter until after she disposes of his body, the illegal way. In the second letter, found in Chapter 12, he essentially apologizes for isolating Sally from the rest of the world, and he encourages her to get out and talk to people. The third letter is found in Chapter 17. This letter reveals Sally's tragic history and the truth about how he and his wife Jean came to adopt her. The fourth thing I love is how Sally handles the situation with the kids in Chapter 9. In this chapter, 3 young boys and a girl go to Sally's home to taunt her. Rumors have spread about Sally killing her father, and so these 4 children show up to bully her. During their trespassing on Sally's property, one of them ends up injured. Luckily, every year Sally takes a course in first aid, so she has a basic understanding of how to help the child. After making an ice pack for the injury, Sally offers the young girl a glass of brandy. The girl declines, instead saying that she wants her mum. I love this chapter because the way Sally deals with these kids, despite what they do to her house, shows us that deep down she is a compassionate person, especially when it comes to children. The 5th thing I love about Strange Sally Diamond is Toby. He is a teddy bear that Sally receives in the mail in chapter 14. The box is from New Zealand, and Sally describes unwrapping it in the following way. When I opened the lid, I immediately felt a warm glow in my stomach. A small teddy bear lay in the tissue paper, and I grabbed him out of the box and hugged him to my chest. The warmth in my stomach reached all the way to my fingers and toes. I held him out in front of me. He was old and well-worn, missing an eye, stained and patched, but he made me feel so something. I clutched him again, confused. Why did he have this effect on me? Why was I so immediately warmed by his presence? Why was I calling it him in my mind? Toby, I said. He didn't reply. I rummaged through the box looking for a letter or a card. On a yellow post-it note was written, I thought you'd like to have him back. The note is signed with the letter S. In chapter 15, Sally admits to recognizing the bear, but she cannot recall where or when she last saw it. The 6th thing I love about this book is Aunt Christine. Sally describes her aunt as a glamorous version of her mother. When Sally's mother was alive, Aunt Christine used to visit them frequently. After Sally's mother died, her aunt stopped visiting, but always sent Sally birthday cards with money in them. When she learns of Tom's death, Aunt Christine visits Sally to help her. She genuinely cares about Sally's well-being and tries her best to help Sally feel socially comfortable around other people. The 7th thing I love about this book is that there are 2 narrators. In addition to Sally, we are introduced to Peter in part 2 of the story. Peter's story starts in 1974, and as we soon learn, he too grew up in isolation. The rest of part 2 is told from the alternating perspectives of Sally in the present and Peter in the past. It paints a dark, horrific picture of abuse and trauma, and as the story slowly unfolds, we learn how Sally and Peter are linked. The 8th thing I love about Strange Sally Diamond is Tina. She is a psychotherapist who was first introduced in chapter 23. Tina helps Sally explore her emotions and helps her acknowledge that she is angry, resentful, hurt, and anxious, as well as grateful, warm, kind, considerate, and lonely. Tina identifies that trust is Sally's #1 issue, but that given her background, it is entirely reasonable. Using a variety of social exercises, Tina helps Sally desensitize her anxiety and PTSD. And in chapter 43, we learn that Tina is helping Sally with anger management. As I was reading, I thought of Tina, Aunt Christine, and Angela as the 3 wise women of the story who helped Sally by genuinely caring for her. The 9th thing I love about this book is that, in my opinion, author Liz Nugent does a remarkable job balancing the psychologically disturbing characters with the good ones. There is a lot of dark material here. As I mentioned earlier, this book is categorized as horror literature, but the tragic narrative is balanced with good characters. In chapter 12, Sally's father tells her that there are more people who are kind than people who are not. He then advises her to seek them out. Despite the darkness of the story, it's not all doom and gloom. There is some light in here as well. So keep that in mind when you are reading this book. And finally, the 10th thing I love about Strange Sally Diamond is that this book and these characters stayed with me for a while. When I finished reading it, I didn't set it aside and move on to something else. I sat frozen in place thinking about what I had just read. As I said at the beginning of this video, author Liz Nugent takes readers on a roller coaster of emotions. Her story left me mentally rattled. But for me personally, that is the sign of an exceptional book. If you've read Strange Sally Diamond and would like to add to my list of things to love, please do so in the comments. Until next time, take care, be well, and happy reading.